Good morning. How are you? I hope everybody's well. Yes, I did. I burpaged. I got rid of that air in my body. Get out of my body. Woo, scumbaggery is going off on the stock market right now. It took off like off to the moon and crash landed 2 minutes later. Yeah, baby. All right, let's go.
And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody willing to get up before dawn, milk cows, work all day in the fields, milk cows again, eat supper, then go to town and stay past midnight at a meeting of the school board. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody willing to sit up all night with a newborn colt and watch it die, then dry his eyes and say, maybe next year. I need somebody who can shape an axe handle from a persimmon sprout, shoe a horse with a hunk of car tire, who can make harness out of hay, wire, feed sacks, and shoe scraps, who planting time and harvest season will finish his 40-hour week by Tuesday noon, and then painting from tractor back put in another 72 hours. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody strong enough to clear trees and heave bales, yet gentle enough to yean lambs and wean pigs and tend the pink-combed pullets, who will stop his mower for an hour to splint the broken leg of a meadowlark. So God made a farmer. It had to be somebody who'd plow deep and straight and not cut corners, somebody to seed, weed, feed, breed, and rake and disc and plow and plant and tie the fleece and strain the milk, somebody who'd bale a family together with the soft, strong bonds of sharing, who would laugh and then sigh and then reply with smiling eyes when his son says that he wants to spend his life doing what Dad does. So God made a farmer.
I'm going to pull the whole thing down. I'm going to bring the whole fucking diseased, corrupt temple down on your head. It's going to be biblical.
Okay, we're back. I'm going to restart this. I'm going to start it right here. I do not know what's going on with the... And now we're off again. Okay, we're back. Let me give it 2 seconds, refresh everything, and then I'll restart this video.
The whole thing down. I'm going to bring the whole fucking diseased, corrupt temple down on your head. It's going to be biblical.
Is it me, or does it every story this week sound like the opening voiceover in a Mad Max movie? The year is 2022. A virus rages across the planet. Digital money has collapsed. Infants have nothing to eat. Women are forced to breed. Men are ready to die for gasoline. And we suffer under the leadership of the one known only as Joe.
Y'all gon' make me lose my mind. Yo, what's my name? Y'all gon' make me go all out. DMX. Y'all gon' make me act a fool. Yo, what's my name? Y'all gon' make me lose my cool.
I tried so hard.
What y'all really want?
It doesn't even matter.
What y'all really want?
Come on, tried so hard.
Ooh, that brother's floating in the air. How could his hand?
Good morning. How are you today? Oh, what a way to start the day. Right off the bat, just bam, just shot our internet down really hard. Could not believe how they just went kazing. Let me put this in the trash. Just shake my head. Hey, that just says we're doing the right thing, right? That guy on the pole vaulting, wow. I wouldn't want to be him. Not after that. I hope everybody's having a good morning. Lots and lots and lots of stuff going on during the course of your sleeping. Sturgis Steve, good morning. The horse lady, how are you? G Herbie, that is trippy. What's going on with your phone? Beth is here, everybody. Beth is here. We may begin now. She has the wine. Dodge Ram girl, are you home or two hands on the wheel? Hopefully you're home. Booger, what's up, bro? Sissy holding down the Florida contingent of the nation. Eeyore out there in North Carolina. Eeyore, good morning to you. Jay out in Texas. I hope you're staying cool out there. And Larry, what's up, Larry? Alrighty then, let's keep going down here. Oh, here's my boy. Dun, dun. Ma dear, good morning to you. Poetic Jen, how are you? Brother Halcyon, good morning, brother. How are you? I hope you're well. Just everybody saying hello to each other. I love that. And it makes me have to really go through all the names. One weird white guy, good morning. Oh, look, it's the Wi-Fi. I don't understand. I mean, it was 5x5, 110, 109 this morning. And bam, as soon as we get going, there we go. Amaze, good morning to you. Let's go over here to Rumble and say good morning to Susie Q and Angel and Abundant and Ray J. Those are the names I do know. There's a few of you watching. On YouTube, I don't believe there's anybody up, and that's okay. Oh, no, McDoggin. Hey, McDoggin, I did get your email. Thank you. Wow, I didn't know you were over there on YouTube. Thank you for being there. Look, I'm just doing YouTube just to piss YouTube off. T-Bone, good morning. How are you, T-Bone? Yeah, Latani, that was a Wi-Fi hit is what that was. But good morning to you. One of the three L's. Smalls, good morning. I did. There she is, Sally B. Sally B is in the house with the Bodie and the Ken and all the great Mortgages for America people up there. It's fun. It's funny. My realtor friend is actually up in your region right now, Sally. I just talked to him this morning. Oh, I do. I got hit yesterday with 4 copyright strikes. Yesterday's video got partially blocked and had 5 copyright strikes on it. Like I said, I don't care. I'm not there to make money. I'm just there to get the information out, and it'll get out. Tomorrow morning, the French Grand Prix. Yes. Dr. J, how are you? Good morning to you. Close. Man, there's so many names. Not my name. Good morning. Yeah, that's right. I am there. And there's the other L. Good morning. You? Firing Squad, good to see you. Thank you, appreciate that. I'm pretty quick about getting back on the air. Ghost Adventure, mahalo, and aloha to you. One of the things I love about the Hawaiian language, aloha, you can say hello and you can say goodbye with one word. Tin Hat Granny, good morning to you. Tomorrow's Friday. Tomorrow is the 404 episode, so I got some things planned for tomorrow. There we go. And ba-ding, we are done with this. Let's get on to the news. That's my Divergent opening. Let's see, I need the reader up because there's a couple things I put in the reader that I wanted to talk about. Just one thing. All right, let's get on with the memes of the day. All right, Fauci here. We're going to talk about Fauci in today's episode. And today, in 1969, America convinced everybody on the planet that we walked on the moon. Masons, Freemasons, liars. Today's episode 403. Governments worldwide are struggling to contain a new virus that would have a huge impact on billions of lives. This virus is called truth. Right? The same thing. Oh, in the New York Post, the Clinton cabal exposed. Wait a minute. 46 of the 50 states have now recounted and confirmed that Biden lost the vote in their state. The media has not said anything about this. I Love this picture. I love sunflowers. They represent life. Tyranny is right back at us. And if you didn't see it, this is how marketing looks at it. Interesting. The old $50 bill and the new $50 bill. The old $50 bill shows the Hoover Dam. The new one shows the dam's bridge is collapsed and water is receding over the dam. Funny how these decodes come out with money. Yeah, maybe I should take my shirt off. Free the nip. This channel contains out-of-the-box thinking and will probably ruffle the feathers of quite a few neophytes. If you wish to debate the topic in the comments section, I ask that you do it in a civilized, intelligent manner. If you state something as a fact, you better back up your words with links, references, book titles, and page numbers, as I have done. Failure to do so will render your statements and comments void. Any comments of knuckle-dragging, troglodyte nature, screaming blasphemy, or the devil's work will be terminated on this site. It's pretty funny. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, Abaddon, the two pillars of enlightenment, as above, so below. And look, South African Chavan description of the Sutarian staff god features the esoteric 9/11, the double X pattern. I am that, and I am that. And he said, say unto the children, I am, he has sent me unto you. The sigil of Saturn. Remember, symbiogy, that's what we're trying to show here. If mass actually worked, we would have been banned just like HCQ. Oh, look. Michelle registered as a man until 2008. Did you notice that the guy that's arresting her is really a reporter? Saji al-Hashimi? Can't make this up. Oh, Banks taking a serious hit in the gonads. All right, we're going to stop this here for a second. This is updated as of the 10th of July, but we can add Stonehenge was the most recent one because of the fire. Three Quarters Dam it's up there, but it's not. You know, thank you, Cass. Appreciate that. So we'll keep updating this. Oh, that's interesting. The Biltmore Hotel, Coral Gables, Miami. I just watched a 2-hour video about that hotel. Wow. Go onto YouTube and type in Biltmore Hotel. I swear to God, I cannot even talk about it. Do we have this video from this gentleman right here? Yeah, that's pretty damning. When your spaceship suddenly starts leaking air to fix the hole with duct tape and a glob of epoxy, nice save, space station crew. Oh my God. Humans residence yesterday at 8 o'clock. No, at noon. Right. Over the next 7 days, heat index out of control. France urges women to report menstrual changes after COVID jabs. Because don't you get it? You're the experiment. Masonic symbolism here in Star Wars. Declined by 71 points. Using interdimensional portals, reptilians and archons, referred to as soul suckers, they perform these rapes and sacrifices, harvesting to increase their negative energy they use to transmute into controlling the world population. Having enslaved humanity with vaccines and nanotechnology, any energy can be transmuted and placed into someone's body to accomplish their task, using humanity as an endless energy source by keeping the population in a negative energy state infiltrating through each facet of government and business through the education systems, newspapers, televisions, movies, advertisements, sports bars, alcohol, restaurants, games, entertainment centers, and so on. Using nanites via wireless transmissions, controlling people via their cell phones, mirrors, electronics, televisions, laptops, they were able to control the people at the highest level. After all is done and told, this will be forever known as the greatest plan to save our children and humanity from the physical matrix enslavement from reptiles and pedophiles hell-bent on the total annihilation of the human race. Thank you, President Trump, and our fine men and women of the military. Where we go one, we go all. The 10 stages of genocide. Always good to have that up. Our neural networks are damaged, assaulted by ELFs, poisoned by toxins, and being controlled by synthetic chemical substances. Taste the rainbow, Skittles. It interferes with our cellular telepathy and direct knowledge knowing abilities. The ANS is what gives us the rise to sensation of emotional feelings in your gut, bringing on nutrition, awareness, and even butterflies that feel stimulated when processing clients into the external reality. Divide and conquer. Us versus them. The transhumanist agenda. Remember, all these things will be in the news segment. Here's some hard cold facts for you smalls. 43% of all food stamps are given to illegals. 95% of warrants issued for murder in Los Angeles are for illegals. Less than 2% of illegals are picking crops, but 41% are on welfare. More than 66% of all births in California are to illegals on Medi-Cal. 60% of all HUD-occupied properties in the U.S. are illegals. 39% of all California students are illegals. 75% of L.A.'s most wanted criminals are illegals. 50% of all the gang members are illegals. U.S. taxpayers are footing the bill for all. Notice it's just California. We have something inherently wrong here in my state because we have this bullshit. We have the video of him talking about growing up with that. Shallow, measuring little from bottom to top or surface, lacking physical depth. Lacking depth of intellect, emotion, or knowledge. Marked by insignificant inhalation of air, weak. Yeah, Shell putting the U.S. Gulf of Mexico assets up for sale right after Biden's speech, because these companies are dying. JP Morgan, precious metals trader, told his boss, coached him to lie about the compliance officials to price manipulating orders. Oh, JP Morgan about ready to go down. These teachers, and there was 36 pedophiles arrested at a school district, and 4 principals and a supervisor, a supervisor and board member were arrested. BlackRock has lost $1.7 trillion in the first half of this year. All right, so these are those cards from 1995, the Church of Elvis. These are cool. Charismatic leader, can be played anytime. Enough is enough at any time or any place. Snipers can drop you. Have a nice day. Currency speculation. The power of resistance in your bank groups is tripled in the next action of defense. The crusade. Everybody wants to go hammer, but nobody wants to die. Epidemic disaster. There's an attack to destroy any place that does not require an action. Its power is 14. World War III. Any nation making a direct attack to destroy another nation has triple power. Reign of frogs. This is an instant attack to destroy any place. Every single aspect of abortion is Jewish. I think, of all the kids, I think this has hit Eric the hardest. But the other thing, okay, Donald Trump is my size, but then Barron is like maybe standing on an inch. But look how tall that boy is. Holy God, that boy is tall. There we go. 181 K through 12 educators charged with sex crimes in the first half of 2022. This was a cool photo of the firmament. Love Ben Garrison. What was the name of his wife that he would cry out when his son would? Okay, the book is 1984. The question is, how far into the book will she get it before she wakes up and removes the mask? Elite's ICE 9 plan will let them seize and freeze every major bank account and brokerage firm. Because remember, the Great Reset and the RV are happening at the same time. Who wins? Well, we know who wins. She had one phone call. She called her husband and her brother. Mind control, Operation Warp Speed logo. 13 stars, meaning rebellion. And he did step down this morning at 6 a.m. my time, and he is dissolving the government. Western Pacific Railroad. If only we were as good as these guys digging up the past, we would have uncovered a lot. Railroad tracks were actually there the entire time. It just, they uncovered them. They didn't lay them. There we go. We are done with the meme lines of the day. All right, so we've got China Banks, truckers, Carrie. She is with Megan Fox. Assault bans, biolabs. It's that Russian. That's that RT video about the biolabs and cancer. Sky News, the BBC. Gates store, it burns down, and we're going to have the little background into that. Hunter Biden, and we actually have audio recording of Nikola Tesla's real voice. Hey, at least somebody's got to be over there, Appreciate that. All right. So in China yesterday, we knew that the Chinese banks were having issues. Australian banks are having issues. Canada banks are having issues. Do Ninja Fart. I love that name. Welcome to the nation. Thank you for following. And as such, it's now elevated that the Chinese Communist government have rolled their tanks out to protect their banks. And basically have told the Chinese people, it's not your money, it's ours. So yeah, wow. Let's roll out our tanks to protect the bank from the people. Because we can't let them have this cash that has no intrinsic value behind it. No. It is about the perception, the mind control on which they're doing the people. Well, we can't let you have it, but okay, now well, fine. We'll bring in the tanks. And that's what they did. Truckers. I know a lot of truckers. Shit, I worked in the trucking business for 4 years. Yeah, truckers are cool. Let's meet a couple.
Christian, I'm from St. Charles, Missouri, and you get balloons to celebrate life from a trucker.
My name's Billy Bland. I'm from Marietta, Ohio with Bland Trucking, and you get toothpaste from a trucker.
I am Sean from Toledo, Ohio, and you get your eggs from a trucker.
My name's John Blanton from Louisville, Kentucky, and you get building supplies to build houses from truckers.
I'm Harley Walls. I'm a truck driver from Dyersburg, Tennessee, and believe it or not, All your pharmaceuticals come by truck.
I'm Laverne Sussman. I live in Tennessee, and you get your playgrounds for your kids from a truck.
I'm James Chesson from Advance, North Carolina, and you get steel, concrete, lumber, construction equipment, and etc. from a trucker.
I'm Hannah. I'm from Pennsylvania, and you get paper towels from a trucker.
My name is Dennis. I'm from Fairwater, Wisconsin, and you get your cucumbers from a trucker.
My name is Thomas Trapphagen from Lassen County, California, and you get baking flour from a trucker.
My name is Michael King. I'm from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and you get farm equipment from a trucker.
My name is Travis Tesserek. I'm from Vernon, Arizona, and you get onions from a trucker.
Hi, I'm Wes Short, Jefferson, Ohio, and you get steel from a trucker.
My name's Heath Kirby. I'm from Northeast Ohio, and you get corn from a truck.
I'm Kevin from Ovid, Michigan, and you get potting soil from a trucker like me.
Isn't that great? Hey, I want to take a moment. Like, those are today's heroes, the truckers. They're about ready to do something. Them and trains, they're going to shut this country down. They're going to show that we are many and they are few. Really? Okay. Kari Lake was on Megan Kelly's Cyrus radio show.
What do you make of it? Those are Arizonans.
Well, I mean, you probably saw my interview with Fox. First of all, Fox has been having my opponent on since she was polling at 2 points. She was like fourth or fifth place, and they've been having her on. They've obviously picked their horse, and that's who they've picked. And they do not like Trump. They called that election within seconds of the polls closing in Arizona. People were still standing in line voting. And they want to make sure they get rid of Trump. And so that doesn't surprise me. I know how to do creative editing. I worked in TV. That's creative editing. You only find people saying what you're trying to bolster. They're trying to bolster that. They're trying to say people are sick of President Trump, and they're not. People believe and want to see his policies back. They want to see him back in the White House.
Woo! She is el fuego lately. She has been a pistol. That's a woman's crosshairs I don't want to get into. You need your wrench. Are you in there? Wow, there's a few people in there. Hi, everybody on YouTube. I appreciate you being on. I didn't even know. No, you're not in the wrong channel, and you got your wrench, so stop it. I didn't know anybody was in there. I hadn't looked in a while. Because right now, you know, it's funny. I actually have the chat set up, so if... Let me see a second here. Nope, I don't have the right one. Get that. All right. Assault ban. There's so much going on right now. It is like a ping pong on what we want to talk about. We're going to kind of be all over the place today. Konnichiwa. And we're going to talk about the assault ban. They are going after the weapons because they don't want you to have the weapons. Because if you don't have weapons, like every dictator, they will come in and remove somebody like me and go, you know what, Spectre? We don't like what you're saying. Bang. They won't even give me an opportunity to change my ways. This is where they're at. So this is the assault ban. This is a representative doing his job for the people.
And the lady yields back. For what purpose does the gentleman from Kentucky seek recognition?
I move to strike the last word.
Gentleman is recognized.
This bill is unserious and unconstitutional. But we'll get into the unconstitutionality of it later during the debate as we offer amendments. But let me talk about the unseriousness of it. And some of what I'm about to show you may come as a surprise to the other side of the aisle. And you may want to go back and redraft it again, I don't know. But the 1994 to 2004 so-called assault weapons ban banned firearms by cosmetics and by name, much the same as this bill does, cosmetics and by name, without regard for the actual lethality of the firearm. And what happened between 94 and 2004 is the manufacturers, within a year or two, just changed the names and the designs of the firearms so that by 1996, they were making them all again. And then by 2004, there were at least twice as many of these types of firearms in circulation as there were before the ban. So I don't know how you make the argument that the 94 to 2004 ban reduced crime because it reduced the number of assault weapons, so-called, because it didn't reduce the number.
Gentlemen, yield for a second. Just for a
I
second.
will here in a little bit. I've got some other points I need to make. So the other side of the aisle says this bill will ban weapons of war. Really? Will it? Let's look at the exempted list. You guys might want to get out the bill and check this. It exempts the M1 Garand. I'm going to read you, so you can still, after this bill passes, you can own an actual weapon of war. What they're calling weapons of war are not weapons of war. They're sporting rifles, but what they're not banning are the actual weapons of war. The M1 Garand is not banned by this bill. And in a letter to General Campbell from General Patton says, in my opinion, the M1 rifle is the greatest battle implement ever devised. Guess what? Not banned in this bill. The actual weapon of war. What else isn't banned in this bill? The quintessential Chinese Army weapon of war. The SKS is not banned by your bill. Very charitable to allow people to own this piece of Cold War history. Here's the Chinese Army practicing drills with one of the weapons they're most proud of, which is the SKS. Not banned in this bill. An actual weapon of war. The bill does ban sporting firearms, though. What do we have here? Well, the gun they're primarily going after in this bill is the AR-type firearm, which stands for Armalite, not assault rifle. It shoots this cartridge, .223. It was designed so that it was lighter weight, and frankly, it's not even suitable. I mean, some people use it to deer hunt, but it's not the preferred caliber for deer hunting. This is the cartridge that is used by the M1 Garand, which is not banned by this bill. It's many times more powerful.
Jim Jordan.
Let's talk about another weapon of war.
Carbine.
What do we have here? This is Iwo Jima. This is the M1 carbine, also not banned by this bill. A technical, literal weapon of war. Yes, they're over there whispering to themselves, oh my gosh, why didn't we ban that? Why didn't we think to ban that? Because you're not banning weapons of war. You're banning the most commonly sold sporting rifle in the United States right now. You're not banning weapons of war. If you were serious about it, you would ban the quintessential Chinese weapon of war. You would ban the rifle that General Patton, described as the finest battle implement ever devised. You would ban it, but you're not. And you would ban the M1 carbine that was used to take Iwo Jima, but you're not. You're not banning weapons of war. You're banning firearms that law-abiding people who are just exercising their Second Amendment rights go out and buy and purchase every day and use to defend their families.
Would the gentleman now yield?
And with that, I yield back.
Would the gentleman yield?
I'll yield to the chairman, and I would love it if
Thank
he could
you.
tell us why he didn't ban weapons of war in a bill that's supposed to.
I just want to point out that whatever the weaknesses of the 1994 bill, gun deaths went down by 25% promptly, and when the bill was allowed to lapse, they went right back up.
And if I may respond to that, Mr. Chairman, if they went down, which they probably did because crime overall went down during that period, it wasn't because the number of assault rifles went down. They actually went up from 94 to 2004. I yield back.
That's a gangster move. Isn't that a great bit of information? I mean, the M1. Okay, I'm 14 years old. Marksman, M1. 15 years old. The carbine. That was a cool gun. That gun had, I'll tell you what, my shoulder from the Garland, man, my shoulder was dying, but with the carbine, it was much lighter, didn't have as much kick on it. Great guns. But you got to treat them for respect. They are weapons of war. That's like you do not unsheath the sword unless you intend to draw blood. Otherwise, that sword stays in its sheath. And I remember that statement as a 19-year-old broke into our house, and I was 16. And my dad went to over the fireplace and grabbed the katana blade that was given to him as a gift of honor by the Japanese government. And the sword was made in 1178, and it's never been sharpened by our family. And you can drape a silk scarf and it'll cut in two without any effort. Just throw it in the air and it hits the blade and just. And my father stood there and he had the sword sheath, and the guy had a gun, and my dad was about 6 feet away from him. He goes, "Son, I've been to Vietnam 5 times. I'm not going to use a gun, but if I unsheath this sword, I guarantee you I will cut you from your shoulder to your waist, and you will watch your entrails fall out of your body as you die." He goes, "Do you want to go that route?" And I swear to God, my father was in the full-on stance, and that guy pissed himself and slowly put the gun down on the ground. And that's when, again, I knew that my father was a genuine badass. Yeah. You got to learn respect for these things. We used to have gun classes in high schools, but because they got a hold of the education system, they went, no, we can't have you having guns because that goes against us trying to control you. Yeah. Now, we talked about earlier the Russian television news, and this information is really, really damning to the Biden administration.
United States, in particular the investment fund Rosemont Seneca, which is headed by Hunter Biden.
Rosemont Seneca Partners is the firm tied to Hunter Biden, the U.S. president's son. And the Russian Defense Ministry is listing financial entities that are involved in these biolabs in Ukraine. Now, they also listed George Soros's Open Society Institute and Open Society Foundations, which are also involved with them, and as well as the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine and the Ministry of Health of Ukraine and the U.S. Department of Threat Reduction. All of them seem to be tied in with these biolabs.
There's the Ukraine sigil.
It appears that that Rosemont Seneca Partners, the reason that they would be involved is because they have a relationship with Metabiota and Black & Veatch, which are main suppliers of Pentagon biolab materials. Now, Moscow is also coming forward and saying that it appears these biolabs are connected with institutions and research organizations that are related to nuclear missiles. This is what was said.
The scale of the program is impressive. In addition to the military, the U.S. Agencies for International Development, the George Soros Foundation, and the Center for Disease Prevention Control are directly involved in its implementation. Scientific supervision is carried out by leading research organizations, including the Los Alamos National Laboratory, which developed nuclear weapons as part of the Manhattan Project. All these activities are carried out under the full control of the Pentagon.
Now, the over 30 biolabs are accused by Russia of being involved in weapons development and trying to develop biological weapons. Now, the USA denies this and insists they are simply research facilities. And we did hear acknowledgement of these facilities' existence from U.S. Undersecretary Victoria Nuland.
Ukraine has biological research facilities. We are working with the Ukrainians on how they can prevent any of those research materials from falling into the hands of Russian forces should they approach.
The fact that she expressed this concern about their possibly getting into the hands.
It's funny, I have DJ Curse in queue, and it's early. I mean, it is early in Hawaii right now. Let's see. It's 6 a.m. in Hawaii, and he's on. I give him mad props. So today is DJ Chill. It's Thursday. Thursdays, we always go hang out with Chill, right? And one of the cool things is that very soon, as you can see, I did kind of resize this, but it didn't turn out the way I wanted. Let me fix this here. There we go. All right, Mortgages for America, helping America one person at a time. Mortgagesforamerica.org. Dial 1-888-320-7888. Mortgages for America. There we go. 6. This is Joe Biden saying he grew up with cancer.
You had to put on your windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer.
I swear to God, we got a Pete Buttigieg video in this today that talks about that very comment. Wow. It's just, all right. So this next video, you might have to turn it up. I cranked it plus 12 decibels and it still didn't get it. So, but basically the setup is this young woman is an anti-vaxxer, and the BBC did a story about her, and they perverted the story just like the basketball player.
I feel it's really important to fight for what I believe in and for what I see to be true. In any situation, if you don't agree with something and if you believe something's wrong, you need to speak up and make noise. It's just good to get the information out, inform people of what's going on so they can make an informed decision, which is what this is all about. It's about fighting for people who aren't able to fight for themselves. It's about giving people that information so that they can make a decision based on both narratives, because there are definitely two sides to it.
I know Nazarene has family and friends who she believes have been seriously affected by the vaccine. And it's these experiences that have fueled her activism.
Yeah, that video, I'm sorry, you can't hear it, but basically it was like the NBA video from yesterday. Where they just ripped her. You know, I tried my best to get that as high as I could. The audio, right? They sucked. So we're just going to keep moving on. This is Rebel News talking about the Bill Gates store that burned in the Netherlands. And the reason I didn't talk about it, because I was waiting to hear some of the background and residual, you know, when a domino falls, it hits other dominoes. I wanted to see what the reverberation of this fire would cause. So we're going to let Rebel News talk to you about it.
Now, it's easy to start connecting the dots because of the current state of the world we live in right now. But from what we know, we don't actually know what's caused it. There are speculations to say that it could be an electrical fire because the batteries inside of the vehicles they use to transport the groceries could have malfunctioned. Other speculations include it could be for insurance purposes because the business probably isn't doing that well and they want to build something else there. And other speculations could be that someone was behind it and has some kind of connection with the current rebellion from the farmers because of government overreach. Where the Dutch government are actually imposing laws that could take 30% of farmers' land to reduce nitrogen emissions, and of course the farmers are not happy. Now, this is all speculation. We don't know what's caused it, but still, it's a fascinating story.
It really is a fascinating story. And talking about that thing and the Dutch farmers, you see, there's some correlation there. That's why I waited a little bit to talk about it. And those guys are on the ground and they're journalists, and we love news, Rebel News. So here we go. This is Brett Baer. I think it's Brett Baer. Yeah, it's Brett Baer talking about Hunter Biden.
Has learned the federal probe into President Biden's son Hunter, being conducted by the U.S. Attorney in Delaware, has reached a, quote, critical stage. The tax probe has been going on for years, but we're told the investigation expanded in recent months. Hunter Biden could face a number of specific charges if prosecutors decide to move forward. Correspondent David Spunt has been following this story, has the breaking news tonight at the top of the show. Good evening, David.
Good evening, Brett. The clock is ticking. Tonight, Fox News can confirm things are moving toward a head in the federal investigation into Hunter Biden. A source familiar with the investigation confirms the grand jury tasked with looking at potential evidence has wrapped up its latest term in this case in recent weeks. The case may now be in the hands of the government, the Department of Justice, to make the next move. The president's son has not been charged with a crime, but is under investigation and has been since 2018 for tax issues and overseas business dealings. The source said the U.S. Attorney and Justice Department officials were looking into whether to charge Hunter with various tax violations and, more seriously, possible foreign lobbying violations, and possible false statements. When Joe Biden became President Biden, he kept on a man named David Weiss, the U.S. attorney in Delaware, a Trump appointee. Sources say President Biden did so to avoid an appearance of a conflict of interest. Brett, Attorney General Merrick Garland has been asked about the Hunter Biden investigation for over a year now, multiple times. Every time he says he's staying clear, letting U.S. Attorney Weiss in Delaware conduct the investigation.
Wow, does that guy's voice not match his body? I'm sorry, his voice is just too deep. He looks like a little boy with that deep-ass voice. Yeah, no, that's a great story. I love what they're doing. Yeah, Brett Baer is a dick. I will agree with you. Now, as I told you earlier, I would let you listen to the real Tesla. This is a recording of Nikola Tesla. I never knew there was an audio file of his voice. Hell, I'm 59 years old and I never knew that. So this audio is really old.
Power is everywhere present in unlimited quantities. I can drive the world's machinery without the need of coal, oil, gas, or any other fuel. This new power for the driving of the world's machinery will be derived from the energy which operates the universe, the cosmechanics, the cosmechanics, the cosmechanics, the cosmechanics, the cosmechanics.
You know, one of the cool things that I love about old video and audio, because as the older you get, sometimes those things that never happened in your lifetime, and you're able to go back and go, whoa, that was going on. Being a student of history, you see things repeated. I mean, shit, I remember, what was it, a couple years ago, 70s fashion came back. I was like, what? Bell bottoms, hip huggers, I like tip huggers. But yeah, well, let's see here. Let's see if I sized it correctly when I did this at 4 a.m. this morning when my eye vision was not very good, but we'll see. The Spectre Nation chat and news. We have Spectre Nation news and chats on Telegram. So if you're new here and you're not part of the news in the chat, and to keep the chat going, hit this link right here. Go to your search engine, type in Spectre News, and that'll take you to the news. I know that 70% of you watch it on your phone, very few watch it on a tablet, even fewer watch it on their laptop, and even fewer than that watch it on their big screen. But when you watch this show on your big screen, it's everything that's done in 1080p, so it looks amazing. Also, we have a chat. This chat that we have here, that we have going, go right here, type in Spectre Nation chat in the search engine, become part of the members. Put your nobody expects a Spanish Inquisition or your dogs or any of that. Put that in there. We try to keep the news and the chat separate because there's constantly going throughout the day. Oh, there we go. Let me collapse this. All right. My Patriot Supply. Right now, there is a 30% off, and go to this link right here that Larry's going to pop up in the chat, and click that link, and it'll take you to My Patriot Supply's page, but it'll be our page within their page, and anything you order there will be credited to Spectre Nation, and you receive 10% off. So if you get the 30% off plus the 10, you receive 40% off. What a deal. Great food. The black bean burgers are amazing, and it's interesting, as I'm getting older and the more that I do this, the more I learn. There's no way I'm eating meat. I have almost come to the point where I'm almost cut meat completely out, unless it's cooked by Big Mike on the water, because Big Mike is the barbecue king. One day, when we get out of Kansas City, we're gonna get some food and let Big Mike barbecue for all of us, because he is amazing. Amazing. There we go. Alrighty then. Mortgages for America. We're not going to do the ad today. We're just going to talk Mortgages for America, helping one American at a time. If you're active duty or inactive duty, you get special, they have special programs just for you guys. If you're a professional, anybody that makes a paycheck. I do not make a paycheck because I have to hustle, because we have this business and we are creating our paychecks. Hopefully one day we'll be able to give people paychecks that work for us. But right now, Spectre Productions is a two-man operation. And Mortgages for America is actually helping, SaveUnited.org is actually helping us as a sponsor. So there you go. Mortgages for America helping us grow, help Save United helping us grow as a business. So they're helping one person at a time. Give them a call. They're in 13 states. It's 1-888-320-7888. No Skateboard Nation today. We are in studio rebuild motion right now, and we should have we have Bert Lamar coming into the studio on Monday, so I think we're going to do that next Thursday as a premiere. Get your Baby Yodas out.
Come make we light up. I'm free. Your mind up. The ganja make you wild. Eyes up. So we are light up. Yeah, say we are light up. I'm free your mind up. The ganja make you wild up. So we are light up.
That's the brother of the nation. That is Forever Preach. He is on every day, and all you have to do is you have the link. We normally rate him on Tuesdays, but Tuesday he got on late, so we didn't rate him. We went to Japan instead. Right now, hey, Larry, I forgot to do this one. Look who's back, the sheepskin headrest neck pillow, $34.95. We have 7 colors to choose from. Look at that, I have 2. I have actually been sitting, this one's been on my back all day. This is for neck support for your car seat. It's got nice little bands on it to wrap around your headrest. Look no further for the sheepskin hard wrist neck pillow. Made from 100% genuine sheepskin, these pillows offer incredible support in various settings, fitted with 2 elastic straps to put around any type of chair or seat for added neck support. You can use these in your office, your dining room, or your vehicle. Use the promo code SN15 and receive $15 off on 4 or more. These are $34.95, so get 2 of them, one for you and one for your mate. And go to superlandfootwear.com. I love these. They're so soft. And these are made by Onesie downstairs. She's amazing. She every morning I get to say hi to her. She puts a smile on my face. She's an amazing woman. And she's so very talented with the being a seamstress. I had the title. All right, so last but not least, the show. Let me put this back here. Got it right there. All right, so there are 6 ways you can help the show. So we're going to start out with Twitch. Twitch, that button down there, you hit subscribe. That's free if you're an Amazon Prime member. It's $4.99 a month if you are not. The second way, in Twitch chat, type in explanation TIP, and that'll bring up a link. And the link will bring up a box. There are 4 options. 3 are preset. 1 is not. You can give me a penny. Penny saved is a penny earned. Okay, so YouTube. In YouTube, you can use the super chat. And I have no idea how that works. I have no idea how you get money from YouTube. I'm not there to make money, but hey, it's there. In Rumble, there's a little money bag off to the left of the chat. You click that and you're in. You're golden. Number 5, Cash App. That's the card I made. Cash App is Spectre Nation. It's $, capital S, then Spectre Nation, all one word. And the 6th and final way is PayPal. PayPal is spectredist@gmail.com. If you'd like to contact me personally, you can contact me 2 ways. Email is spectrenation@protonmail.com, or easiest way on Telegram, the @ symbol, SpectreDIST. And there we go. That's the business is done. We can take this and throw that back there and make a mess, and I'll pick it up later. All right, here we go. Hey, look, I had the fortunate pleasure in 1995 to interview Donald Trump and Ivana Trump when he was married to her. And I will tell you, she was gorgeous. I mean, I was literally tongue-tied. I was stunned by the beauty of the woman. And then after getting to talk with her before we interviewed her, it was like, oh, okay. Sometimes a person's charisma or that aura that they present, it can make you get tongue-tied, right? Just like the person you love, that very first time you tell that person that you love them. It's like, okay, I love you, and okay, cool. Or it's one or the other. And that one or the other, people don't want to do that. They don't want to take that proverbial step off the cliff and fall in love, right? So, and through the years, they had amicable. It was done by the kids. But what we've recently learned is there was foul play afoot with her death. There was some serious foul play because Dan Scorvino posted some stuff and Trump himself. But this is the video of the funeral of Trump of the family coming to the funeral, and then the procession. How many Secret Service agent he has around him while everybody passes him? Well, it's because it's not Jared. Hey, look, she deserves the respect. That's why I put her on the show. And I feel sorry for the family, because if we know that she was actually murdered, you can guarantee that man is pissed. And if he's pissed, that's not somebody you want pissed at you. I don't think so. Here is an old commercial, and there's some cool symbolism. I know, it kind of looked like Joan Rivers, didn't it, Noreen? I thought that same thing. Yeah, a lot of Secret Service. That is an understatement. That is still the president of these United States. So, but again, this is an old commercial. It's interesting, the look. It's a Pizza Hut commercial, but watch the symbolism in this Pizza Hut commercial. Oh, nope, not that one. Wait a minute. How did I get that one? Okay, sorry about that. All right, here we got the right video up.
Napoleon, Alexander the Great, Donald Trump. We're all cut from the same cloth, and that cloth is very, very large. It's not too big, is it? No.
Why do New Yorkers have such big mouths?
Go big or go home.
Because they eat big pizza like the Big New Yorker from Pizza Hut. We're talking 40% bigger. Soft, fresh dough with all your favorite toppings. Now from just $9.95.
You've got to be losing money on this.
131166. Pizza Hut.
That was an Australian Pizza Hut ad, by the way. But yeah, it's. I just thought that was interesting. There was some weird coding in that he is cut from the same cloth as Napoleon. Okay, interesting. Do you know who Larry McDonald was? Larry. This is the interview that Larry gave, and the very next day, Larry died in a plane crash. They were very afraid of this man.
This week says this: the John Birch Society considers communism only one arm of a master conspiracy in which socialist American insiders are plotting to establish world government. Now, it also says, and here's Director John McManus, that's your public relations director, saying that former Secretary of State Alexander Haig and CIA Director William Casey are two of these master conspirators who are plotting to establish world government. Now, what do you that kind of silly, asinine statement is what makes people laugh at the John Birch Society?
Well, Tom, I'm sure being a long-standing member of the Rockefeller apparatus and as a member of the Council on Foreign Relations of longstanding, you're fully aware that there is an elitist core in this country that has seen value in subsidizing communism, of protecting communism.
It has?
Sure.
You're accusing me of subsidizing communism?
No, I'm saying
because I happen to belong to a
there is an elite core.
Study group?
No, wait a minute. There is an elite core in this country that has dominated American society.
Well, I'm not one of them.
Well,
Trilateral Commission.
The Trilateral Commission, Council on Foreign Relations.
State Department, I suppose.
Well, let's face it, they've dominated the State Department for 40 years, and pretty much openly
All right,
so.
but what are they trying to do?
Well, their objective is to try to bring about a gradual transition in our society, a dissolving of sovereignty, and a moving steadily to the left on the political spectrum.
Well, who are they?
Belief, the elitist groups that I mentioned, particularly key individuals and policymakers in the Council on Foreign Relations.
Is the International Monetary Fund part of this?
Well, I would say the International Monetary Fund has certainly been set up for the purpose of facilitating that transfer of sovereignty and transfer of wealth on the road.
All right, we
to
elected
something.
Mr. Conservative.
Let me just finish the point, because otherwise we're going to have a lot of unanswered questions. That you are looking at a group that has worked to bring about a dissolution of national sovereignties on the road to world government. And certainly you're familiar with local professor Carroll Quigley, who has been part of your club, in which he admitted all this. And he said in his book, Tragedy and Hope, the only thing I disagree is that we've worked to keep it a secret.
Yeah, so Larry died because of that interview. Yesterday, I was outside. I get that heat. We, Traveler 451 and I, we spent the day yesterday together, and we went out to a farm that is doing sustainable energy. It was really cool, and they're part of Cal Poly. Andrew sent me the link of the place we went to. I'll put that here, and while this next video plays, I'll grab that link. So this is Jesse Waters talking about Dr. Bricks, aka the Scarf Lady.
Remember the spring of 2020, the heart of the pandemic? We were told to mask up, social distance, and stay home, or we were all going to die. And for a while we listened, but then we realized something was off. It almost seemed like our health experts were just making things up as they went along. And it turns out we were right. Deborah Birx, Trump's White House coronavirus response coordinator, the one with the fancy scarf collection, admitted to making things up in her new tell-all book. Birx reveals that she and Dr. Fauci were lying to the president and to the American people about their COVID protocols. She admits to making things up, altering COVID reports, and misinforming us in the name of public safety. Starting with their old slogan, 15 days to slow the spread. Remember that one?
We've really worked on messaging to the American people about these 15 days to stop the spread. I know it's a lot to ask because you've done it for 15 days. It's what we've been talking about in the 15 and 30 days to prevent the spread.
That whole thing about 15 days was bull. Birx knew very well that 15 days wasn't the magic number. There was no magic number. In her book, she writes this: no sooner had we convinced the Trump administration to implement our version of 2-week shutdown than I was trying to figure out how to extend it. So that 15 days to slow the spread was just a sneaky way to get their hooks into us so they could lock us down for longer. And if you dared to leave your house, Birx told us the only way to stay safe was to social distance.
It's everybody social distancing by 6 feet when they're outside. And that is probably absolutely the key more than anything else, is if you're never within 6 feet of any single individual, then you've controlled the virus.
Stay 6 feet apart. I mean, she just made that up. And limit your gatherings to 10 people. They told us it would save lives. Well, surprise, surprise, those numbers were made up too. Birx says, I had settled on 10, knowing that even that was too many. But I figured that 10 would at least be palatable for most Americans, high enough to allow for most gatherings of immediate family, but not enough for large dinner parties and critically large weddings, birthday parties, and other mass social events. So she basically wanted to keep people from getting married and celebrating the holidays. And if you thought that was shady, listen to this. Birx didn't just make up rules. She was also altering COVID data in weekly reports. So states would have a reason to escalate their COVID protocols. And then when it comes to the origins of the virus, it seems Deborah Birx knew about the lab leak thing all along. She told the Daily Mail that COVID came out of the box ready to infect. She also claimed that the virus was being worked on by scientists in Wuhan, which is interesting because in the spring of 2020, she said this.
I don't have an evidence that it was a laboratory accident. These are zoonotic events. They come from animals into humans. And so figuring that out will be really critical, as well as figuring out could it have happened in the lab. Right now, the general consensus is animal to human.
Okay, so let's talk about BRICS. The U.S. Navy Judge Advocate General's Corps and Office of Military Commissions indeed tried and convicted BRICS on June 30th, 2021. The proceedings took place in the naval base Guam, approximately 3,300 miles west of Hawaii, 1,500 miles east of the Philippines, south of Japan. Guam is a territory of the U.S., and its residents are U.S. citizens. The island is 36 miles long, 6 to 12 miles wide, and in many ways, Guam is an all-American community. I've been to Guam. It's awesome. It's small as hell. It's almost smaller than Okinawa. Let's see here. The reason why she was there was because Gitmo was overloaded at the time, so they took her to that and had the there. Asked why JAG was so tardy in releasing the information on BRICS's conviction, said the Vice Admiral Darce Crandell that the White House heads of other branches of the armed forces coordinated with the dissemination of classified or declassified data. I said nothing until I get the green light, which then I'm authorized to say for OPSEC reasons. There's heavy compartmentalization. BRICS, he added, fell to the firing squad on June 6, 2021. So remember, everything you're seeing is a movie, and we are in the midst of it. We are at the end portion, but we still have that big dun dun dun. The music is ramping up. The war is coming. Do you hear the war dreams? You see everything. Grab some tea, go make some popcorn, sit back and finish watching the movie as your fan. All of those that called you a conspiracy theorist or you're a member of the black sheep in your family, yeah, they're all going to come to you and say, how did you know? And your response has to be, how didn't you know? I just don't get it. All right, so we know about Scarf Lady. Let's talk about Pete Buttigieg. Pete Buttigieg is being put on the hot seat here. I loved it.
Some fun with this. Could you please describe America to me in one single word?
Well, for me, I guess home.
Home. Fair enough. Fair enough. This is how President Biden described America in one word. Could you please tell me what that word means?
I'm not in the habit of trying to read transcriptions.
I bring this up to you, sir. I bring this up to you
on television
because you yourself questioned Donald Trump's mental state of mind in September of 2019. We now see the mainstream media questioning President Biden's mental state, and for good reason. Sadly, he shakes hands with ghosts and imaginary people. He falls off bicycles. Even at the White House Easter celebration, the Easter Bunny had to guide him back into his safe place. Have you spoken with any other cabinet members about implementing the 25th Amendment on President Biden?
First of all, I'm glad to have a president who can ride a bicycle.
That's your
I
question.
will look beyond the insulting nature of that question and make clear to you that the President of the United States...
Have you spoken to any other cabinet member?
See, that bullshit right there, not answering the question is like, dude, shut the fuck up and answer the question. When are our politicians, this whole decorum of, oh, well, I'm going to treat you a certain way because this is the way we talk in here. No, bullshit. America, Davy Crockett used to be a representative of Tennessee. And if you go back and you look at those congressional records, he called shit out. Not today. No, because the left wing and the right wing, the light bearer, God doesn't have wings. So we have the right wing and the left wing. And we have an elephant and a donkey. One doesn't forget, one's an ass. One leg is, they're one of two legs that all they do is spew out shit between them. I mean, come on. This is not what Jefferson and Adams had all of these letters about through the years and when they founded this country. I think both of them would be very sickened if they came to this time and they saw which they created. But they were smart enough to put provisions in there to rid us of these Pharisees, these morons, these sycophants, vampires, trolls. Language is a very unusual thing, isn't it? So in the reason why I got all hot, because here, I'm going to set this up. You have police officers with no warrant demanding to come into the house and demanding to know how many guns this guy has. And I give this guy credit. This is like that Marine that booby trapped that doorstep of his.
Yeah. Okay, that's all I'm doing is verifying that you have it. You got 2 different purchases. Okay. If you have them, I'm out of here. That's how quick it is. Yeah. You have them with you by any chance? Are they? If you can unload them and bring them out, or you can go out to your foyer here, check them out by serial number, and we're out of here. That's it? Yep.
That's it. It'll take 5 seconds.
The reason we're out here is we're obviously gun violence has been an uptick, so we want to make sure we've been having a lot of issues with straw purchases. So one of the things indicators that we get is somebody makes a large gun purchase, and then a lot of times we've been there like, oh, those guns got took it. We're like. So the idea is when you purchase more than 2 guns at a time, it generates a multiple sale report. And it comes to us and we have to check them out. Okay. That's all that is. You did nothing wrong. Okay. Did absolutely zero. I noticed that you were stopped in Philly though, right? With one of your guns?
Yeah, those corporate fucking thugs. Get the fuck off my porch. Get off my porch, bitch. Get off my land. You got no warrant? I'm not talking to you. See, you got to take that approach with these assholes. Oh, well, we're just doing this because we have an uptick in crime. I don't give a shit. Go deal with the crime. Get off of my property. I'm a law-abiding citizen. If I have to go call the sheriffs, I will. Oh my God. When you tell a cop that you're going to call the sheriff, they get fucking, their sphincters go, whoop, because they know that they're wrong. There are things they teach them to entrap you. That guy was trying to entrap the homeowner. Oh, really? Oh, okay. You notice the homeowner never left. He never got anything. He just played along and let them do their thing. But for me, get the fuck off my property. I told that actually. Sheila's dog, Bo, bit a guy. And then a week later, the guy angered Sheila and the dog bit the guy again. So this time the guy called the ASPCA. He came onto the property. And I go, do you have a warrant? He goes, no. And I go, you can go to the street. I go, you're not invited. You're not invited. But sir, I go, I don't give a shit. Unless you got a warrant, which you are an agency of the city, go to the street and you can talk to me from there. And he goes, well, I go, oh, I have the right to, I go, you don't have jack shit. I go, call the cops. This was his first mistake because I made him stand on the street. And then when the 2 cops showed up, the older cop, Coach Spector, how are you? Joe, how's your son? I saw he's in his 3rd year at UCLA. He's killing it. He's pitching really good. And then we started talking. And the guy on the street, he's all sitting there. And I go, and he starts making a move. I go, you stay right there. This is the intermediaries between you and I. And I go, I will go through you and him if he touches my dog. And the cop goes, Coach Spector. He goes, come on. He goes, he's trying to do his job. And I go, he has no right to take the dog. He said the dog had this and it wasn't in that time frame. And I go, you can go talk to him. So the young cop went over and talked to him as I'm talking to the older cop. And I guess the young cop didn't like the fact that I am the size I am and I make grand gestures. And he stood back and he put his hand on his gun. And I looked at him and I went, really? I go, John, you want to tell this young man what skills I have? And he goes, you really don't want to mess with Coach Spector. He goes, he's very, very skilled. And the fact that we got here, that I'm here with you is your saving grace because he would have schooled you on the law. He goes, my son knows the law better now because of being with Coach Spector. And I was like, well, it's just the way it goes. So yeah, when these tyrants come to your door, it's your property. They tell them to go to the public street and they can stand out there and talk to you. You have your rights and assert your rights. And that's what, they come demanding your guns, tell them, bafangoo. All right, here's my intrepid number 17 video of the day. This is rabbis being arrested for human trafficking.
How many people?
Oh, no, not that one. Oh, no, that's right. This is, we're going to go to that. We're going to do that one.
How?
Come on.
How many people who have no other morbidities under the age of 60 have died from this illness?
You have no other morbidities?
Yeah.
Because I can tell you how many people under 65 have died. And obviously
Under
some of those
60,
with other
no other
morbidities may well have
morbidities.
survived. A morbidity doesn't mean you're...
350. You're more likely to drown. There's 400 people a year that drown. So I think we have to get things a bit in context.
What comfort would that offer to the families of those who've lost
Every
loved ones?
death is tragic, but believe me, we're already in the largest recession for 300 years. In fact, it's not just one recession. The Bank of England have said the economy will shrink by 14%. That's the equivalent of 2 recessions. It's a depression. And I wouldn't be surprised if we have 2 million more unemployed people within a year. Imagine the agony of 2 million more unemployed people. How many deaths might flow from that? How many deaths are flowing from the fact that we've got half as many A&E appointments at the moment? Cancer patients not being seen, people with heart disease not being seen. And the collateral damage of this campaign of fear and lockdown has to be taken into account. Very soon, I believe lockdown will be causing more deaths than the virus. And no one here today is going to lose their job because of COVID. But believe me, there's a real risk that millions of people in the private sector are going to see their careers demolished. And I think that really matters. And people say, oh, economics over lives. Unemployment can kill people. And I think it needs to be taken into account. And also, how are we going to pay the £170 billion a year that the NHS costs us if the economy's in the toilet?
I love England. One day it is on my bucket list to go there to see a soccer game with John, and then, you know, there are places that there are old buildings that I want to visit in England, and that I will get there. It is on my bucket list. But yeah, that video, you're right, Nurse. Not only did they not invite him back, but he's banned from any programming done by the BBC, which is pretty much encompasses the whole country. But yeah, it was just some serious truth bombs that he was delivering way back when. And I've been holding that video for a while because I felt that today's show was the show to put it into, because we have a dissemination of truth being happening. And that's what today's show is. The virus is called the truth. The truth is not something that the few, have been standing on the pedestal of. They stand on the pedestal of lies and petulance and sloth and all the 7 vices of the world. They stand on those pedestals. So to see that is just All right, so the reason I didn't have the rabbi, because I had the wrong video loaded up. That's what happened. That was on me. The things you do at 5 a.m. when you're just going, I've only been awake for an hour. But yeah, this is rabbis being arrested in New York.
These were arrests on a massive scale. Amongst those taken into custody by the FBI were city mayors, politicians and religious leaders. The authorities needed buses to cope with the sheer scale of the operation.
New Jersey's corruption problem is one of the worst, if not the worst, in the nation. Corruption is not only pervasive, it has become ingrained in New Jersey's political culture.
It's thought that religious charities controlled by prominent rabbis were used to launder cash. The arrests were part of a 10-year operation that uncovered money laundering on an international scale, as well as corruption and the sale of human organs in the US, Switzerland and Israel.
The list of people we arrested sounds like it should be the roster for a meeting of community leaders. But sadly, they weren't meeting in a boardroom this morning. They were in the FBI booking room.
Prosecutors say one rabbi was dealing in human kidneys for transplant for a decade, buying them from vulnerable people at a huge profit. The scale of the corruption across New Jersey has outraged residents.
It just goes back to the belief that Hudson County is incredibly corrupt.
and I thought we were making headway and becoming less corrupt.
The number of arrests was remarkable even for New Jersey, where more than 130 public officials have pleaded guilty or been convicted of corruption in the last 10 years.
Corruption, corruption, corruption. The rule of law is coming back. Because you know what? Fear sells. Fear sells so much to these evil tyrants that they just hit your mainstream media with all their shit. Here's a Project Veritas. This is an older video, but I just want to put this in here because fear sells.
New story comes up, they're going to latch onto it. They've already announced in our office that once the public will be open to it, we're going to start focusing mainly on climate. Climate, like global warming, and like that's going to be our next, like I don't know, like what's the word I'm looking for? It's going to be our focus. Like our focus was to get Trump out of office, right? Without saying it, that's what it was, right? So our next thing is going to be for climate change awareness.
What does that look like?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I have a feeling it's just going to be like constantly showing videos of like decline in ice and weather warming up and like the effects it's having on the economy and really talking
Who decides that?
the head of the network, like just
Who's that? Is that Zucker?
Zucker, yeah. I imagine that he's got his council and they've all like discussed like where they think
So that's like the next
pandemic like story like that will be to death. But that one's got longevity. You know what I mean? It's not like there's a definitive ending to the pandemic, or like it'll taper off to a point that it's not a problem anymore. Probably think it's going to take years, so they'll probably be able to milk that for quite a bit.
So climate change overload.
Be prepared, it's coming. Stories, like right now, we had an inside track right now where 2 stories are going to be pushed. Climate change is going to be the next COVID thing to stand up. We're gonna hone it.
Focus on that.
I love it.
But that's a fair thing to focus on.
But to commit to that as a network.
You said it's going to be like the new COVID.
There is a certain integrity on doing this job, and they do not have any integrity. That's why they will go to jail, because that's their evidence against both of those 2 individuals. Sedition and treason are very, very finite things, and that borders on sedition. Not telling the truth, not telling the people the truth, misleading them to cause them harm in their deaths. Even though as you're a producer, you are still viable. Your name is on that. I feel for them. Big Pharma. Big Pharma is the reason why I pushed all of this stuff with all their money. They needed you to be an addle-minded drug addict. But yet they vilified the cocaine dealer and the marijuana dealer and the heroin dealer and every other dealer. Unless it was their white coats writing a prescription to their pharmacies to give you drugs. Right, Big Mike? Big Mike and we are trying to get him weaned off of all those drugs. In fact, I think today he's got his doctor appointment. So yeah, but look, if you're on those drugs, it's hard to get off them. It's mental. It's like when I had the operation. Major operations, you get the button, okay? You tap that button once and you're like, hey, everything in the world is good. I like my life. It is fucking, and then you hit it again, you're like, whoa, that's pretty gnarly. I could get used to this, man. I don't feel any pain. I'm like, yeah. Every time, one day, cut it off. Deal with the pain. That means you're alive. When you're dealing with pain, that is telling you your body is going, yo, something major happened to us and we are hurting and we're alive. I would rather deal with that than, hey, how you doing? Because you need to feel that pain so that you can fix your body. If you can't feel that pain, it doesn't heal right. So there we go. Big Pharma, they're the purveyors of all this stuff.
Have you ever paid attention to the fact that a lot of pharmaceutical drugs are actually based off of something that occurs naturally in nature? But here's what they don't tell you. You cannot patent something that occurs naturally in nature, and therefore they cannot make money off of something that occurs naturally in nature. So what do? They create synthetic versions of that very element that occurs naturally in nature, and they patent it just so they can sell it to us. And they go so far as to brainwash us to think that we need to rely on the synthetic form of a drug that we need to buy instead of going to nature, getting it from the source, and getting it for free. They go even further to call the source alternative medicine, when in reality, it's actually the reason why they were able to create a synthetic version of that element in the first place. Do you see it now? Have you ever paid attention to the fact that a lot of pharmaceutical drugs are actually based off of something that occurs naturally?
It occurs naturally. I mean, that's why the herbologist, the apothecary, those were great places. I still go to an apothecary. In fact, yesterday, I got some soap that was given to me by Traveler 451, which on Monday, we're going to be doing giveaways with that soap, and it's CBD soap. So, Big Mike, I got a bar for you so you can try it. Traveler 451, this is one of his businesses that he and I do, and you're buffering bad, and that's on your end, hun. We're 5x5 here. So yeah, we have a new soap that's coming in, and we're going to be giving those away once a week. And there we go. All right, let's play this. All right, here we are in the World News Report. And in the World News Report, we have a deep energy weapon in action. China weather making machines, monkeys driving cars. The internet is not in the cloud. Where is it? A UFO very up close. Traveler 451 and I did something yesterday, and it's called Hulk Rock Smash. All right, and I'm going to do a prediction up for that. Who wins, the rock or the picture frame? Trump wanted by the law. That's a cool one. It goes back to 1958. It's not about Donald Trump, but it's about a guy named Trump. All right, here we go. This is a deep energy weapon in use using night vision. The green, that's what represents the green. So, yeah, I'm going to do that tomorrow. I saved it for Friday. Okay? Yeah, I saved it for Friday. And I'm going to do this while you enjoy the deep energy weapon in use. Go, and the prediction is up for 2 minutes, so get in there. Who wins between the rock and the picture frame? Rock versus picture frame, or picture frame versus rock? Coming to you from the dock of Superlam. That is the battleground there. Righty then, this is the China weather making machine. This one's cool. I gotta tell you, this is a cool video.
Can we engineer the weather? Cloud seeding is a form of weather modification that can produce what we want more or less of. More rain or snow, or even smaller hail pellets. China is building the world's largest weather modification system to artificially enhance rain that will cover an area of over 2.1 million square miles by 2025. Today, at least 52 countries across the globe are using some sort of weather modification program. While it may sound too good to be true, the technology has been around for more than 75 years. Clouds are made up of tiny water droplets. Groups of droplets form water vapor, or ice crystals. By itself, this water vapor isn't dense enough to fall to the ground as precipitation. Instead, it rises until it becomes supercooled and condenses around tiny particles of dust in the sky called condensation nuclei. It takes billions of these condensed water droplets to form a visible cloud. In cloud seeding, a seeding agent is used as the condensation nuclei. Typical seeding agents are chemicals such as silver iodide, potassium iodide, or solid carbon dioxide. These are shot into clouds by rockets or sprayed into clouds using drones or aircraft. Unattached supercooled water vapor molecules in the clouds condense around these particles. The condensed water vapor droplets then group together, becoming larger and heavier. This process continues until the droplets are large enough to fall as rain. Recently, the UAE created artificial rain using drones. These drones targeted certain clouds with electrical discharges through concentrated lasers to force water droplets to pool in the air, triggering the desired rainfall. Today, the largest cloud seeding system in the world is found in China. China creates 55 billion tons of artificial rain a year. Other countries are also looking to ramp up cloud seeding efforts in the hope of
The Saudi UAE one is the most, the cleanest way, using lasers to electrify the clouds to get them to charge and create the rain versus using chemicals. So I thought that was very cool. Very interesting. You know, the show, this portion of the show is about learning new things, things that go, wow, I didn't know that existed. Yeah, like this. Monkeys driving cars. It's a Renault he's driving. And she turned off the camera. That's pretty funny. Isn't that cool? You know, interesting orangutans. Now, is the internet in the cloud? Where is the internet? Can you tell me where the internet is? Right? That was a Renault. Can you tell me where the internet is? Is it in the cloud? Is that where our information goes to? Do you know this to be true? Do you know that the internet is not actually in a cloud, but it's here? I'm going to learn some new stuff. Ask El Gore. That's a good one, Bari. Bari gets one for the day on me. That was good. I like that. No, we'll let this video tell you. It's very informative, and I think you're going to be kind of amazed by it.
We never stop hearing about how the internet's in the cloud, but really, it's in the ocean. About 300 undersea fiber optic cables are responsible for 99% of international data traffic. It's basically the same way we connect to each other in a single country, except underwater instead of underground. They transmit PewDiePie from Europe to America, and they connect stock traders in New York and London. And these cables, placed by private companies, are the backbone of the internet. But if you held one in your hand, it'd be no bigger than a soda can. There are just a few layers of protection from the water, including petroleum jelly. Yes, your internet is covered in Vaseline. They're vulnerable to earthquakes. At least a few times, confused sharks have bitten them. But many cables are beneath sea life because in some places they go as deep underwater as Mount Everest is high. Ships lower a plow that digs a tiny groove in the ocean floor, lay in the cable, and it's naturally buried by sand thanks to the ocean's current. And that process, it's both stunningly simple and mind-blowingly complex, is responsible for making the internet a truly global network. It's an idea that's audacious and crazy, and you think it has to be cutting edge, and it is. But it's also been going on for 157 years.
Yep.
Electric telegraphs have been around for a long, long time. Experiments in the early 1800s connected two ends of a garden using a clock that revealed letters. Then they moved on to two neighborhoods to help signal trains, and then multiple cities thanks to a network of railroad lines. Underwater submarine cables were an obvious next step, so they played around. Instead of petroleum jelly, the first ones were coated with exotic tree sap to protect them from the water. And though the undersea cables came in spurts, one of the first ones was knocked out of commission by a fishing boat. By 1858, they reached around the Atlantic and across the world. And that's how it's kind of gone since, laying cables that circle the Earth's oceans. The cables are unwound from the back of a ship, sink to the ocean floor, and the world is connected in speeds measured in milliseconds. There are ideas to bring the internet above sea level. Along with cell phone towers, there's internet beamed from Facebook satellites to Africa and balloons lifted by Google. But for speedy international travel, undersea cables are still where companies like Facebook and Google place their bets. That's because the best way to create the cloud is still by going under the sea.
Is it? Those are the old Mars cables. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Over? You'd have to wait to hear your echo before they could talk, and then you'd have to wait for their echo before you could talk. That was the 70s. But we know that it's all bullshit because of what's above and what's getting ready to be turned on. And how do we know this? Because we have videos of vehicles like this. Gee, will you look at that? Isn't that amazing? Technology exists. They just don't want you to have it because it's not in their best interest for you to have it because then they lose. Truly a free person. This is, okay, so we have the prediction up. Rock versus picture frame, right? And okay, and I spelled picture wrong, but that's okay. Here we go. This is rock versus picture frame. This is me I'm literally laying on the ground like this with the camera in front of me. And Andrew, Traveler 451 has the rock. So we were just fooling around. This is what happens when you get two guys that have smoked way too much weed and they have cameras.
There we go. Move your foot.
Look at the ants crawling by. And they're jumping up in the air.
Should have brought the hammer. Rock 1, crappy Christmas gift 0. We done?
And there we go. So the rock, let's choose the outcome. So who wins? The rock or the picture frame? Well, there you go. There's your answer. The rock won. That's just us being very stupid. All right, and the last video of the day, Trump is wanted by the law. It's not the Donald Trump that you think about. This is from an old TV series from 1958, and I just thought it was interesting because, watch it.
Bring you a message of great importance. Without my help and knowledge, every one of you will be dead.
Sheriff, how long are you going to put up with this?
What do you mean?
How long are you going to let this con man walk around town?
Be careful, son. I can sue you. I don't intend to sit here and be insulted, Sheriff. If your people don't want my help, I can go elsewhere.
Now, wait a minute, Mr. Trump. You don't talk for the rest of us.
Since the sheriff wouldn't stop Trump, Hobie had to find somebody who would. Sheriff Chet Farrow was the gun law in Talpa, and Judge Clement was the book law.
Hear about Trump?
Yes, sir. What are you going to do about him?
What do you want me to do?
Stop him.
From what?
From taking a town.
Can you prove that that's what he has in mind?
Well, it's obvious.
But can you prove it? In order to arrest him, the sheriff has to have a charge. And Trump hasn't given him a thing to go on.
Well, there's got to be some way to stop him.
Well, if there is, I don't know it. It's funny how a big lie can make us all kids again.
Hobie had checked the town. The people were ready to believe. Like sheep, they ran toward the slaughterhouse. And waiting for them was the high priest of fraud.
I am the only one. Trust me. I can build a wall around your homes that nothing will penetrate.
What do we do? How do we save ourselves?
You ask, how do you build that wall? You ask, and I'm here to tell you.
You're a liar, Trump. Aren't you going to stay for the fireworks?
I've done all I can for Talpa.
Figure it's time for me to be moving on. Well, I think you ought to wait.
It's where you and I disagree.
You're under arrest, Trump.
What charge?
Well, you write it any way you like. Grand theft, fraud, I think a jury will find it stealing.
You don't think I'd lie, do you?
You don't want an answer to that. No, I don't need you now. Every minute you're alive, my neck's in trouble. And there was a saddlebag.
I'll take it.
Until the crowd knew that everything Trump had said was a lie, there was no hope for Talpa.
Thought that was a very cool way to end the show on a Thursday. Let's go over here. Let me turn this off really quick. Collapse that. And collapse that. And let's go to the live scene. So earlier I was watching the I was watching stop that. I was watching the webcam and we had the USS New York coming in. We have had a lot of ships coming in, and Big Mike will tell you he's been watching the water. Been a lot of activity with the U.S. Navy ships of late and this port. I wish we had somebody in Hawaii that could give us an update of what's going on with the fleet out of Hawaii, or more importantly, the fleet out of Norfolk. Norfolk is, I imagine, is probably a lot more active than San Diego is, even though this is one of the Navy's biggest ports. So I have no idea what they're doing here. I have no idea what that is. Mike, if you can tell us what this is, I would be grateful, because I have no idea. It looks like I have no idea. Maybe a pipeline? Well, as we wait for Big Mike to tell us what this is, because he's everything all about the water. He is a captain. He is a great friend of the nation. He's a great friend of mine. And whenever it comes to sea stuff, I always refer to him because I have no idea. All right, so let's get back here. All right, let's do the things we need to do and get out of here. Let's see real quick if DJ Chill is on. He is not. Okay, so I've got a backup. We're not going to go to Stu Gaming, even though Stu followed us. I've been a friend of Stu's for 5 years, and he followed the show today. So we're going to go here. We're going to go to Brooklyn, New York. All right, so let's get through this really quick. We have, in Telegram, we have 2 channels, Spectre News and Spectre Nation Chat. Just type in Spectre News, hit that, join the channel. Hit Spectre Nation Chat, join the chat. We keep the news and the chat different from each other because there's a lot that goes on, and we could lose the chat or we could lose the news, and I don't want to lose either. They're very important to me and the nation. There we go. My Patriot Supply has a 30% special going on, and if you join click it right now, well, not right now, anytime today or tomorrow, whenever, you can get 30% off plus our 10%. You receive 40% off on My Patriot Supply. Mortgages for America, helping one person at a time. I'm a recipient of Mortgages of America and also SaveUnited.org. That's 1-888-320-7888. Super Lamb Footwear. You can get that beautiful little pink neck pillow for $34.95, and you order 2 of them, one for you, one for your loved one, and enter the code SN15 and receive $15 off on Super Lamb Footwear. No activity tonight for Skateboard Nation as we are rebuilding the studio. Preach is not on. DJ Chill is not on. So like I said, we're gonna go to the Bronx today. We're gonna go see Hard Hitting Harry. I love Hard Hitting Harry. He and I talk offline. I really like him a lot. The final way that you can help us, there are 6 ways. In Twitch, subscribe, explanation tip brings up a link. Click the link, gives you 3 presets, and 1, you can give me a penny, give me 2 pennies. Give me your 2 cents worth, and then tell me why you're giving me your 2 cents worth. On YouTube, it's super chat. On Rumble, it's the little money bags in the chat. Hit that, and that'll get that donate. Cash App, right there. Cash App is $ Spectre Nation, all one word with a capital S. PayPal is spectredist@gmail.com. And damn it, we want to say PayPay. So there we go. That's all the ways that you can get in touch with us financially to help the show. If not, if you want to talk to me or send me something that you're very highly about, then you got 2 ways to do that. You can email me at spectrenation@protonmail.com. Or you can do in Telegram at SpectreDist, and that'll get right to me. All right, so there we go. Let's get this up here. Wow, we're getting out a little early. We've been running late the last couple days, and today we ran, yeah, right, no naked skateboard tonight. We ran early today. We had a lot of videos. They were cool. I love the background for Hard Hitting Harry. It looks like he's in California. So we're gonna go help him out. And there's a big stream event. So if we stay with him, we go into we meet other DJs. So I think I'm gonna listen to him all day, or stay on that stream. All right. If somebody calls you a conspiracy theorist, you go, "Thank you, sir. You recognize I'm a truth teller. Would you like the truth? Really? Are you sure you want the truth? Because the truth hurts, and your mind is gonna get overloaded." And always say it with a smile. Whatever you do, do it with a smile. You never know. That smile you might smile at the love of your life and not even realize it. Or you might smile at somebody that hates you so much that they might hate you just a little less because you smiled at them. Or the most important thing, you might save somebody's life. All right, we're going to get on out of here. You have a great day. Let's go to Hard Hitting Harry in Brooklyn with Twitch, on Rumble and YouTube if you're still with me. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you being here. Make sure you hit the like button and the follow. Give it and hit that little button when it pops up, and we go until we get deleted, and then we go to another channel. On Rumble, thank you so much for being here. Hit that Rumble on the way out. Take the link, share it with your friends. I will see all of you tomorrow.